Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. I'm Zoe Neville-Smith. I'm Senior Product Marketing Manager, and I'm coming to you live from our head office in Cambridge. To kick off the introduction to this webinar, I am going to share what we'll be covering in this session. I'm not going to read out all the words on this slide, but you can see from each section of the agenda that we'll be explaining how we approach the syllabus redevelopment, how we have updated paper 1 and paper 2, a brief overview of how we plan to support schools with the transition to the updated syllabus, and at the end we'll have a little bit of time for your questions. I'd also like to just do a little bit of housekeeping for this webinar. So this webinar is an introduction to how we've updated the Pakistan Studies syllabus. If you teach the qualification over 2 years, you will need to start teaching the new specification from September 2026. We are keeping delegates muted throughout the presentation so that everyone can focus on the content. Disabled cameras and microphones will also keep the bandwidth consumption low and everything running smoothly. If your connection drops out, do rejoin if you can. That said, the session is being recorded for you to refer back to, and you'll get that along with our follow-up email in a week's time. Please submit any questions in the Q&A box. We will go through as many of those as we can, but we might not be able to answer everything live. We need to prioritize covering the content, and if there are questions that need a bit of consideration, we will address them in an FAQ document. If you have very detailed questions, especially about the assessment of the new syllabus, those might be better saved for our training sessions, and we'll be signposting those at the end of the webinar. We will send out the FAQs along with the recording to every attendee in a week's time. If you have any questions that are specific to your own school or candidates, please email them to our customer support team. They're the best placed team that will get you the answers you need. So without further ado, I'm now going to hand over to my colleague, Hira.
Thank you so much, Zoe. So for those who don't know me, I'm Hira Sajjad. I work as a Senior Recognitions Manager in the Pakistan team. We are joined today by 3 consultants that have extensive experience of the Pakistan Studies syllabus. They are Gulzera Jamal. She has 19 years of teaching experience and has been training for Cambridge for 3 years in both parts of the Pakistan Studies syllabus. Her teaching experience includes Beacon House, Lahore Grammar School, the City School, Benchmark, and APS. And she has extensive administrator experience as a senior mistress of high school at the City School, senior section head at APS Risalpur, senior academic coordinator at Roots Ivy. Next, we have Mia Saad Ahmed. He brings 15 years of teaching and training experience in O-level and IGCSE Pakistan Studies. Saad is based in Karachi. He has been accredited Cambridge trainer for Pakistan Studies since 2020, delivering 0 level and extension level and focus on assessment trainings. Alongside his training work, he teaches and serves as a subject coordinator for Pakistan Studies at the Learning Tree School. He also plays an active leadership role in teacher development and support candidates working towards Cambridge professional development qualifications. We also have with us Ghada Rahim. She has been teaching Pakistan Studies for 18 years and headed the history department at her school. She has been a Cambridge trainer since 2023 and has conducted successful nationwide face-to-face trainings for Pakistan Studies, both history and geography. We also have a few of our colleagues on the call who are listening in to support the session. So, when we review our syllabuses at Cambridge, we do it in consultation with schools as well as other key partners such as local government and higher education. We are very grateful to all of you who engaged with our Pakistan Studies consultations, and I'm pleased to be able to report that the following findings from that work. Our consultation took the form of a number of focus groups, which saw us listening to 43 teachers from 17 schools. We gathered feedback on all aspects of the syllabus, subject content, and paper 1 and paper 2 as well. And here are now how these comments have fit into our development. First of all, you told us that candidates do not have enough time in the examination. So we have increased the exam papers to 1 hour 45 minutes, which give candidates more time to show what they can do. You also said that we require you to cover a great deal of content. In response, we have streamlined the subject content and have placed less emphasis on memorizing extensive details about people, events, or developments. The revised syllabus takes more thematic approach to historical events, looking at economic, social, and constitutional development. You asked for a solution-oriented case studies, so we have refreshed these and used them to target solution-oriented questions, which encourage learners to engage in important contemporary debates on key environmental issues in Pakistan and feel empowered to influence change. We understand the need for learners to develop analytical and evaluative skills, so we have addressed this in a few ways. First, we added a new question type promoting learners to explicitly examine the key concept of change and continuity to paper 1. Question E in each topic encourages students to describe change brought about by an event. The revised subject content also encourages learners to critically analyze and make informed judgments around topics that reflect the issues important to young people in Pakistan today. We've introduced a new question type with the command word assess to paper 2, which asks learners to critically explore one aspect of the syllabus content and make an informed judgment. Now I will be handing over to Gulzera to give you more information on the updated syllabus. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hira. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, everyone. Right, so now we are on to the most awaited in-depth coverage of the new syllabus, which is meant to help learners in developing an understanding of the culture of Pakistan, its historical roots, and political development into a modern global nation. Learners build a deep understanding and appreciation of Pakistan's physical and human environment, and an awareness of the relationship of this environment with its economic and social development. It's aligned with the new evolving national curriculum in place today. Learners construct informed, balanced, and structured arguments, making reasoned judgments and decisions that they can justify using evidence, thus creating empowered citizens and further preparing them for their next steps in education or employment. The syllabus also helps learners develop the enhanced skills of handling information, analysis, evaluation, decision-making, and communication, which are embedded into our assessment objectives. Now about assessment objectives. AO2 specifically has been designed to develop future-ready skills of our delegates and candidates. Critical thinking is facilitated as they learn about the history and culture of Pakistan through the lens of the key concepts. These concepts are explicitly referenced in exam questions, enabling learners to use their understanding to communicate effectively. Parts F and G, the explain and analysis questions, invite students to demonstrate their skills of making judgments and evaluation. Similarly, AO3, specific to P2, develops learners' ability to handle information from a range of sources to analyze, evaluate, and make decisions about contemporary issues facing the human and natural environments of Pakistan. These critical thinking skills are assessed in the longer questions, particularly in Section B of P2. The new syllabus and framing ideas have been carefully designed to allow learners to develop these skills across their course. The purpose is to make them confident in applying these skills in not only an exam scenario, but also their future studies or work environment. So now I will start discussing about paper 1, the history and culture of Pakistan. Within the history and culture of Pakistan, the Cambridge team has revised the content to focus on the development and progress towards Pakistan as it is today, with a greater emphasis on society and culture. In paper 1, learners will study the history of Pakistan through the lens of core historical concepts as listed on the slide. These concepts are key to building understanding and comprehension. They are common to other Cambridge, IGCSE, and O-level humanities subjects and prepare students for further study across a range of humanities subjects. Now here, the 3 key questions in topic 1 are the overarching ideas exploring the making of Pakistan between 1857 till 1947. Each key question has a series of focus points to highlight the key events, figures, or moments that they need to study. In topic 1, there is a focus on importance and impacts, linking understanding to the application, to significance, and consequence, which are most applicable to this topic. For example, in learning about key question 1.1, the learners are asked to consider the contributions of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan and the significance of his work in establishing a view of how India should be governed. In key question 1.2, for example, learners are guided to explore the 1937 election results, specifically in terms of their impacts, and so on. The content in this topic encourages learners to explore attitudes to British rule and the beginnings of Indian nationalism. Also, how different views evolved on how India should be governed, the changing attitudes over time, and events that led to the formation of Pakistan in 1947. The 3 key questions in topic 2 are the overarching ideas exploring the shaping of Pakistan since 1947. Each key question has a series of focus points to highlight the important issues, policies, and constitutional developments that need to be studied. In topic 2, there is a focus on evaluating the process Pakistan has made, linking learners' understanding to the application, to the key concepts of change and implication, which are most applicable to this topic. For example, in learning about key question 2.2, learners are asked to consider impact and effectiveness of the policies introduced between 1947 till 1999 in terms of economic and social progress made. In key question 2.3, for example, learners are guided to evaluate the steps taken towards a democratic constitution explicitly through exploring the strengths and weaknesses of the different constitutions, etc. The content in this topic encourages learners to examine Pakistan's challenges and measures taken to overcome them by 1971. Also, the policies through which Pakistan made economic and social progress till 1999, and to evaluate the steps taken towards a democratic constitution. In topic 3, the key questions are the principal ideas exploring the evolution of Pakistan's foreign policy and changing international relations with the East, the West, and the Arab world. Each key question has a series of focus points to highlight the important organizations, events, or relationships that need to be studied. In this topic, there is a focus on how Pakistan's foreign policy has been influenced by the impacts of distinctive events and resulting change. These are clearly linked to the important concepts of consequence, change, and significance, which are most applicable to this topic. In learning about key question 3.1, for example, learners are asked to consider Pakistan's membership and role in supranational organizations and the magnitude of these to Pakistan in the global community. In key question 3.3, for example, learners are guided to explore the main events affecting Pakistan's relationship with its neighbors and other Arab states, particularly in terms of consequence. The content in this topic encourages learners to explore the principles behind Pakistan's foreign policy from 1947, Pakistan's involvement in the global community, the reasons why Pakistan chose to ally with the West in the early 50s, Today's challenging and changing relationships with the East as well as with its neighbors, including the challenges, diplomatic solutions, and mutual support. In exploring the development and progress towards Pakistan as it is today, we have introduced a new topic area, which is the society and culture of Pakistan, about how Pakistan is building an equitable society and changing its cultural identity and unity. The three key questions in topic 4 are the overarching ideas exploring the society and culture in Pakistan. Each key question has a series of focus points to highlight the important aspects that need to be studied, such as arts and sports, Pakistan's diversity, and the factors moving Pakistan towards social equity. In topic 4, there is a focus on factors causing change and their importance, linking learners' understanding to the application, to significance, to change, which is a great step forward in greater enhancement skills of our learners. In learning about key question 4.1, for example, learners are asked to consider the heritage of the arts and sport and their importance in developing Pakistan's cultural identity, which I believe is a great step forward as the syllabus has been revised. In key question 4.3, for example, learners are guided to explore the different ways Pakistan is moving towards a society in keeping with its ideology. For example, through empowering its citizens and providing healthcare and education for all, specifically in terms of the significance of each of these aspects. So within paper 1, the learners will study aspects of history, but rather than simply learning the facts, they will be using information to explore the historical events. There is less emphasis on memorizing extensive details about people, events, or developments. Instead, the syllabus takes a thematic approach looking at economic, social, and constitutional development. In the example on the slide, you can see that in the current syllabus, there is a list of focus areas and specified content related to the work of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, for example. In streamlining and reorganizing content in the new syllabus, rather than just listing all of his main work, we want learners to focus on the impact of his contributions to the emerging debate on the future governance of India. As another example, learners are no longer expected to know details of numerous ministries between 1947 till 1999. Instead, the syllabus takes a thematic approach looking at economic, social, and constitutional development across those years. Now, I'm going to hand you over to Saad to talk about the paper 1 assessment. Thank you, everyone, for being with me.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mia Saad, and I will be talking about paper 1 assessment. As mentioned, the new paper 1 examination is longer in response to schools' feedback that students need more thinking and writing time for analysis and evaluation. This gives candidates more time to demonstrate their ability to apply their knowledge and understanding. Each question will now have 7 parts and is structured in the same way. I will show you what it looks like in a later slide. The learners have more choice over which of the 3 questions out of 4 they want to attempt, as there is no compulsory question or a source-based question as well. The total marks for the paper are 75. We have many of the same words, many of the same command words as before, such as explain and how far do you agree. Candidates will be writing their answers now on a combined question and answer booklet, which will give them more time and an idea as to how much to write and how much time to spend on an answer. Also, there is no insert. Next slide, please. There are 7 parts to each topic question, and this slide shows how a question progresses through different question types. Each of the 4 questions have the same structure of sub-questions. Questions A, B, and C are 4 multiple choice questions, and they are worth 1 each mark. Question D, ask the candidates to state 2 features of the given topic and is worth 2 marks. Question E is a describe question and it is worth 4 marks. This question focuses on describing a change caused by events, developments, or policies. This question tests historical concepts, change, or continuity. Question F is a similar type of question, which is an explain question, and it is worth 6 marks. It assesses candidates' understanding of second order concepts, such as causation, significance, or consequences. In the first example, on the slide, we have explain how, which looks like having the benefits of United Nations membership for Pakistan. And the second example is explain why, about the unpopularity of Congress rule. Question G is a similar question to how far do you agree question, which is worth 10 marks. And it assesses a different historical concept, which will be asked in the part F. And it is never going to be about the concept of change. This follows the same pattern, which is currently being used in part C of the present examination. It requires learners to carry out analysis, provide detailed explanation, reach a supported judgment. It asks learners to consider how far they agree with the statement, developed explanations on both sides, making a judgment on relative importance. Parts E, F, and G test learners' abilities to engage with key historical concepts of significance, cause, consequences, continuity, change, including similarity and differences in events. These test learners' deeper understanding and knowledge of the syllabus content, using historical key concepts to develop future-ready critical thinking and communication skills. Next slide. The specimen paper is now available on the School Support Hub. Specimen papers help exemplify the standards of responses that are expected from the candidates. We have written 2 specimen answers for each of the question, a high level and a mid-level response. Along with the sample answers on School Support Hub, they are accompanied by a commentary that includes strengths and weaknesses of the answers, comments to indicate where and why marks were awarded, or why and how could additional marks be achieved. Some of the general guidance is also included. This example shows a strong response to a new described type of question, as 2 changes are identified and they're supported with relevant and specific details. Now on this slide, we can look at part F, the explain question. This is similar in style to an explain question, which is in the current syllabus. The question is marked using a level-based mark scheme, which is included in the marking scheme as table A. Candidates are awarded a mark based on descriptors in the level mark scheme. This new mark scheme has been streamlined and now aligns more closer to our international IGCSE history standards, ensuring a seamless transition into our A-level products of history. Candidates are awarded for developing their explanations with relevant and accurate supporting detail. This is an example of a good candidate response to part F. Next slide. The final question on each topic is a part G question, which is also familiar to a lot of us. How far do you agree with the statement style question? This question is marked again using a table from the marking scheme, which is table B. Candidates are awarded a mark based on the descriptors in the level mark scheme. This new mark scheme has been streamlined and aligns more closer to our international IGCSE history standards, ensuring a seamless transition into our A-level history products. Candidates are awarded marks for developing their explanations with relevant and accurate supporting details and demonstrating balance here through recognizing more than one factor. The conclusion needs to be evaluative and make a supportive judgment, drawing on evidence provided and addressing the how far factor, which considers the importance of different factors. This is an example on this slide of a good candidate response to the question G. I am now going to hand over to Gada. She's going to talk about the updated syllabus for paper 2. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Really excited to share about the new syllabus of Environment of Pakistan. So we have streamlined and refreshed the subject content to 3 topics, which encourage learners to critically analyze and make informed judgments around the topics that reflect the issues important to young people in Pakistan today. These align with the national curriculum of Pakistan. Topic 1 encourages learners to explore the natural environment of Pakistan. Topic 2 looks at people and places of Pakistan, while topic 3 focuses on developing the economy of Pakistan. There's a major focus across all 3 topics on sustainability, and content on sustainable development is integrated throughout the syllabus. Each topic has 3 subtopics, which are structured around learning questions to highlight the key areas of study. When studying Pakistan's location, landforms, and natural resources, for example, candidates are asked to consider questions such as what is the significance of Pakistan's geographical position within Asia and the world? What are Pakistan's main natural resources and how can these be managed for sustainable development in Pakistan? In topic 1, in addition to some familiar content focused on Pakistan's geographical location and its physical environment, we have introduced new content on climate change, asking learners to explore the natural and human causes of climate change, its consequences for Pakistan, and the way in which Pakistan is responding to climate change. Topic 2 focuses on the people and places of Pakistan, covering the 3 main topics of population, urban change, and quality of life in Pakistan. In topic 2, 2.1, learners study population structure, distribution, density, and migration patterns, as well as considering the changes Pakistan is experiencing to its population structure and the impacts of these changes and strategies to manage population growth sustainably. In new content on urban change and quality of life in Pakistan, learners are encouraged to engage with questions like why are Pakistan's towns and cities changing? What are the opportunities and challenges of urbanization? How can quality of life be measured? And how does quality of life vary in Pakistan? The theme of sustainability, once again, is integrated throughout the content. In this topic, for example, encouraging a focus on sustainable population growth and sustainable management of urban areas. Coming to the third topic, it looks at Pakistan's economy and is divided into 3 subtopics, exploring employment and industry, energy and infrastructure, as well as globalization, trade, and tourism. By studying this topic, learners gain an overview of employment in Pakistan and the importance of different industrial sectors for sustainable economic development, as well as an understanding of Pakistan's energy mix and the role infrastructure can play in supporting Pakistan's economic development. A focus on globalization is new for the updated syllabus, exploring how globalization affects Pakistan alongside familiar content on the importance of international trade and tourism of Pakistan. So, moving ahead, as we've mentioned in the earlier slides, the updated syllabus includes new topics on climate change, urban change, quality of life, and globalization, with an emphasis on learners building a greater understanding of the different issues that are important for contemporary Pakistan. By encouraging the learning of these key environmental topics, learners gain the opportunity to critically evaluate and make decisions about issues impacting Pakistan today. By reducing the amount of knowledge learners are required to recall, this has given us space to introduce new content which is critical to Pakistan in the 21st century. As for paper 1, there is less emphasis on memorizing extensive details about people, events, or developments, instead, taking a more thematic approach to help learners develop their knowledge, understanding, and skills to examine the environmental, social, and economic context relevant to Pakistan. To give some examples on the reduced detail required, for example, you're studying crops and livestock. So, learners will explore the significance for the economy of Pakistan rather than where they are produced. In studying trade, learners will focus on the importance of trade for the economy of Pakistan rather than describing changes in the types, amounts, and values of goods. In each of the three syllabus topics, there is one case study for learners to study, enabling learners to explore a contemporary issue Pakistan faces in greater detail. In topic 1, the case study focuses on responding to climate change. In topic 2, the case study focuses on managing population growth. And in topic 3, the case study focuses on increasing food security. For each case study, the syllabus includes detail on what learners need to study, and we'll show you some examples on the next slide. Can I change the slide? Yes. This shows example of case studies taken from the syllabus together with questions from the exam paper to show how this content would be tested. So looking at the first example given, learners should study one approach used to increase food security, choosing from the list given. They should specifically focus on the aims of the approach and how it works, advantages and disadvantages of the approach, and how it can support sustainable development. Case studies also help learners to transform abstract concepts into tangible, relatable scenarios. By presenting students with contemporary issues affecting Pakistan, case studies foster deeper engagement and critical thinking. Learners are encouraged not only to recall information but to analyze, evaluate, and make informed judgments about real world challenges. This approach helps students connect theoretical knowledge to practical applications, developing essential skills such as problem solving, decision making, and evidence based reasoning. Ultimately, case studies empower students to understand the relevance of their learning, preparing them to contribute thoughtfully to discussions about Pakistan's future and to become active, informed citizens. So, all the excitement from me ends here. So, Saad, I'm going to hand you back so you can talk about the updated paper 2 assessment. Thank you, everyone.
Look at the paper 2 assessment. As mentioned earlier, we have allowed more time for candidates to demonstrate their ability to apply their knowledge and understanding in response to school feedback that learners need more time thinking and writing while they're doing the paper. As with paper 1, we have kept the paper at 75 marks in total across the 3 questions. We have many of the same words like before, which are the command, or commonly known as command words, such as identify, describe, and explain. In section A, learners answer 2 questions from 3, one on each of the 3 topics. In section B, learners answer 1 compulsory question, which is question number 4. Question 4 tests content from all of the topics. Each question has 8 mark parts, which totals up to 25 marks. We have also some new question types, including multiple choice questions and a 5-mark assess question. This asks candidates to make informed judgment. I will show you some examples on the next few slides. As mentioned in section A, and for 2028, are multiple choice sub-questions. You can see 2 examples of these on the slides. Multiple choice questions are a functional way to test learners' basic knowledge and understanding of the syllabus. Maps, for example, graphical, visual images, and media sources skills. They can be used in different ways, and here you can see an example that involves calculation. and another one for recalling knowledge. There are lots of familiar question types and command words such as identify, describe, explain, as you can see in the examples on the slides. Next slide. Another new type of question in section A is a 5-mark assess question that requires the learners to explain different sides to a particular issue. There is one topic in section A, one per topic in section A. The syllabus defines assess as to make an informed judgment. And to do this, you need to consider both the sides of an argument. Here are some examples shown. For example, assess the environmental value of forests for Pakistan, assess the advantages of one approach used to increase food security in Pakistan, assess the effectiveness of one approach of managing population growth in Pakistan. Section A also includes a 6-mark judgment question. These are similar to the 6-mark questions that are currently being assessed in the syllabus. And just as in the current syllabus, they cover up assessment objective 1 and assessment objective 2. Next slide. Section B has a compulsory question, which has an emphasis on sustainability, drawing from content from different parts of the syllabus. This final part of the question, part D, invites candidates to choose best course of action from a choice of 2 options. For a geographical issue in Pakistan specifically, in this question, candidates are provided with figures to help them make a decision, and they can justify either of the options. The important aspect of this question is a judgment being supported by their understanding and also the evidence that they pull out from the figures that are provided. An example of this question is given on the slide. Looking at the possible ways of mitigating and adapting to climate change, learners are asked to choose whether they think investing more in renewable energy or developing stronger flood defenses is likely to be the most effective in helping urban areas in Pakistan respond to the challenges of climate change using the figures that are provided. There is no specific correct answer. Learners should be able to select the evidence that they feel appropriate for the argument that they want to make. This allows learners to demonstrate their ability to draw ideas together, pull them up together, and support them with the relevant details. This question is worth 8 marks. As with the judgment question in part A, the mark scheme for part D is level-based, which has 3 levels. First, a judgment is made about the best fit statement. Then description within each level is used to decide upon a specific mark. Next slide. This is an example that is also available on School Support Hub now of a good response to this question. This answer has selected developing stronger flood defenses as a chosen option. It includes a range of developed ideas to support it, and it has evidence included. It concludes with a clear and justified evidence. You will be able to find this on School Support Hub now. I'm now going to hand over to Zoe, and she's going to talk about the support that's available to schools. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saad. So moving to the schools, the support for schools that we are producing to help you transition to the change to the syllabus. We have a raft of support on our School Support Hub, and after this webinar we will send a list of frequently asked questions about the syllabus changes together with the answers to those questions alongside the recording of this webinar. We're also going to put those frequently asked questions document on the School Support Hub for your long-term reference, which we hope will help you when you want to refer back to things that have come up in this webinar and been raised with us as well. I should say that our specimen papers are now available on the School Support Hub. And schemes of work are coming next month. As you'll see on the slide, we have a range of training opportunities running throughout April, and we will put the link to where to sign up for those training sessions in the follow-up email, but we'll also post that to our chat as well, if you can find that. A teacher guide, learner guide, and skills exercises for paper 2 will be published to the School Support Hub in July, and you'll be able to see candidate responses from January 2029 after the first exam series. I hope that everyone on this call is familiar with the School Support Hub because it's such a valuable resource. As well as hosting a range of syllabus and specimen materials, you'll find further teaching and learning materials and exam resources on the site, with much more coming soon. I'd also like to just plug the forum. The forum is our community around different subjects, and it empowers teachers to share the strategies, teaching materials, and to post what support they need. It's Cambridge moderated, which means that moderators can raise recurring themes with us. They can talk about what teachers are saying, and that helps our subject teams respond to those needs. So please do use the support hub to share with each other what you're finding, anything you're finding helpful, and any gaps that you might be identifying, because we get to see that and we are then able to respond to those things. All of this is available for all teachers in Cambridge schools. Your school support coordinator, which is often your exams officer, they should be able to set you up on the School Support Hub if you don't yet have a login. Okay, I'm now going to work through some of the questions that have come up in the Q&A box. And just as a reminder, I can see the chat is blowing up, but if you can put your questions in the Q&A box, that helps us manage them more effectively and helps filter them out from the chat. Thank you very much to my colleagues who are on the call who are able to answer a few of the questions in writing already. I notice that there are lots of questions about supporting resources in terms of support for teaching and learning and sample papers, but also a lot of interest in published resources, so course books and other teaching support. Can we have a textbook? Really good to hear that demand. I should say that we are exploring the provision of a textbook to support the teaching of Pakistan studies. And as soon as we have an update, we will update teachers. And I think keeping a close eye on the School Support Hub will be something we recommend, but also that information will be published on our syllabus pages on our public website. So once we have more information to share with you, we absolutely will. And again, I'd link that back to the School Support Hub as well, especially the forums, because amongst you in the community, you may find other resources and things that you think are appropriate. You are very welcome to raise those and ask us, Cambridge, how much of the syllabus do you think this would cover? We can have a look at things as well and help you with some of that signposting. We know that teaching subjects like this involve drawing on quite a rich repository of information, especially as you're tailoring some of the things you might be exploring to your learners' local context. So we really, really encourage you to get on the forums, share what you're finding and share where you need support so that we can respond as best we can. I'm just going to scroll through a few more of the questions and answers. What have we got open? I see that the questions are lighting up, which tells me you're all posting your questions, so thank you for that. There's a few that are quite specific that I'm not sure we're going to be able to answer right this moment, about things like the source-based questions and changes to those. I think those are questions that we might best pick up in our post-webinar FAQs, if that's all right. Please stay tuned for that. That will come in the follow-up email after this webinar, and also on the School Support Hub. There's a real demand for training, I see, for paper one. Yes, we appreciate that paper one there's a lot of content potentially, and I hope that this introduction has helped walk through that a little bit, but for a lot of you preparing to teach this from September, there will be a real sense of, right, just getting into that lesson planning now. So I hope that the training is coming soon enough to support that. But again, please do keep raising these issues and letting us know. Some questions about digital resources. Absolutely. We know that a lot of classrooms that are using blends now and using digital resources for flipped classroom and getting students to do some independent work. So it's very much front of mind for us. I think I saw a question. I don't know if it's been answered. On teacher training, just to emphasize again, hopefully there's a link in the chat. I haven't opened the chat, there's a lot in the chat. And we'll put it in the follow-up email as well. But that will filter by all training for Pakistan studies, so that you don't have to go on our website and figure out where to find it. We will link you direct to all the Pakistan studies training, and then you have a look through and you can see what's available right now. And I would encourage you to go back to that link every few months, just to see as we add more training to the schedule, so that you can then see what's coming and book on. And keep using the school support hub, because I think sometimes other people pick up on things, and then it's a great way to share information. There's a few questions about how many paragraph part G and F are we writing opinions in G and F. I would really encourage you to come along to the training. I think that will offer more exemplification of what those sorts of questions and answers will look like, and hopefully really build that confidence with what we're looking for. I'm going to have a quick look at what's been answered. There was something else. Oh, the webinar recording. We've had a few questions about that. So I'll just reiterate that we are sending the recording of this webinar out to you in a follow-up email in the next 7 days. So do stay tuned for that. Everybody who signed up to this, whether you were able to attend at all, in part, you will get a link to the webinar recording. Yes, there's questions about schemes of work. So in case you missed it, we are producing a new scheme of work, and it will be published next month in March. So that will mean that you, by July 2026, will have a teacher guide, a learner guide, skills exercises for paper 2, and lesson plans for all the new topics. So by July, you will have that, and I hope that will help you really plan your teaching in for September. There's a few questions about which cohorts of students are affected by the redevelopment. So this syllabus is for first exam in June 2028. So it depends when you start teaching for that examination. I think for a lot of schools that will be from September. So if you have a cohort that's starting in September of this year, they will need to focus on this updated syllabus. And if you're doing a 3-year course, you want to start shifting that focus towards this new updated syllabus in that cohort that's already started. So I hope that helps and answers that question. We've now got 45 questions. You guys are really keeping us busy. Let me have a look at what else we've got. Okay, it's helpful to know that your new sessions are starting in August for some of you. So we know that we need to get as much. And I think by having a lot of those resources in July, that should give you a good start for your teaching planning. Just having a little scroll through. And if any of my colleagues on the call have spotted any trends or anything they particularly like to address as part of these Q&As, that would be very welcomed. I think I've mentioned about training. Lots of questions about training. So that's really telling us the importance of training. And I think maybe that's something we need to be reiterating on the school support hub as well, so that you are looped in and that you don't miss anything as we have new training available, to make sure that you're able to engage with that as quickly as possible. and still more asked for course book. So that course book question is really being heard loud and clear. And I think you raising that need with us helps us understand, and we know there'll be a demand for this, but hearing that again, that means we can go back and really pursue that and make a case for that. So thank you for sharing that. And I think I'd say in general, these questions are enormously helpful. Every question that you submit to us today will be saved for us. So everyone on this call will know that. And part of the work we will go on to do is to take these questions and build them into addressing your needs in the future. So for some part, that will mean putting them in the FAQs document for us after this webinar, where they're questions that we can answer now, that we can explain. It also helps us understand what our training needs might be and where the particular areas of interest where you'd like to see more detail. So those are the kind of things we can share with our trainers to say, okay, as whether it confirms what we already thought might be the case, but it just helps us understand where you want us to focus and what support you would want us to prioritize. So these questions are really, really helpful in helping us know how to best to meet your needs. Okay, I'm just having another look at the Q&A. I think all my colleagues are furiously on the chat trying to respond to as many as possible. Oh yes, and as well as the recording of this webinar, you'll also get to see the slides, so you'll have those for reference. Okay, I'm just having another quick look at the questions, see if there's any themes or specific questions that are that we can pick off easily. Okay, all of these questions are really helpful. As I've said, they will help us add things to the FAQs and also think about where we might need to focus some more of our support. But I will move on from the question section at this point, I think, because I'd like to give you the opportunity for you to feedback about this webinar as well. And if I can make the slide move on, there we go. So a couple of things to share with you before we close today. One of which that we'd like to leave you with a link to our promotional video. You'll have seen these graphics throughout the presentation today, and we do actually have a full video. We're really proud of this redevelopment. We think it represents a great step forward, and we've had some really positive feedback to the redevelopments as well. So by sharing this video, if that's something that you can use, if it's something that your students might like to see to really help them feel enthusiastic about the new syllabus and how it will help them develop their skills and prepare them for the future, we will share this link with you and we'll put it in the follow-up email as well. And it's just a nice celebration of the redevelopment. We're really proud of it, and we hope that as the teaching and training helps to clarify how the syllabus has evolved, that you too will just really come to see how the syllabus has taken a big step forward. And the QR code on the screen, and also a link that I hope we're able to add to the chat, gives you the opportunity to give us some feedback on this session. How has it met your expectations? There was a lot of information to take in. There's a lot of detail here, so thank you so much for joining us and for your attention throughout. It's really appreciated. And if you can tell us how you found the webinar, it helps us make all of our future webinars even better. So, okay, I can see there's still a few questions coming in. Just going to give it a little minute in case anybody has any further things they'd like to add to the questions or to the chat for our records. Okay. There's definitely a few more questions in here that we can pick up afterwards, which is really, really helpful for us to see. And please do leave us feedback on this session. As I say, it helps us make these sessions even better. Okay. So I'm going to bring today's session to a close. All that remains is for me to thank my fellow presenters. This has been a real team effort, and I'm really grateful to them for showing up and talking us through these changes so fluently and with enthusiasm. we're really proud of it all. Thank you everyone on this call for spending your time with us. I really hope this has been a valuable session, and please do complete our feedback survey, and you will hear from us again with all the follow-up information in 7 days' time. Okay, I'm going to close the webinar now. Thank you very much to everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your day.